Welcome to the 2024-11 release Services Procurement Highlights video. Our first item is add budgets of approved and closed child SOWs back to master SOW. Let's look at an example of a master SOW in the application. We can see that a maximum budget has been set for the characteristics and for the master SOW. Now let's look at a child SOW created from that MSOW where $7,000 has been spent from the budget, leaving us a remaining budget of $43,000. Let's say that this child SOW has been completed early and we would like to close it. As we click on Close Statement of Work, we are presented with a warning message to remind us that setting the Allow Further Invoicing flag to No will allocate any remaining amount that has not been invoiced back to the master SOW. Upon closure, we can see a new message confirming that any remaining amount that hasn't been invoiced will be sent back to the master SOW. A new field, Total Spend Allocated Back to MSOW, appears on the child SOW with the reallocated amounts detail, and the remaining budget of the child SOW is now set to 0. When we look at the master SOW, we can see that the budget that was spent on the child SOW is displayed in the Allocated to Date field for each characteristic, and that the remaining budget for the characteristics and for the master SOW has been updated with the reallocated funds. With this release, a new Review and Collaborate on Statements of Work workflow is available. To create an SOW review workflow, simply click New, select the relevant module, enter a name for your workflow, and configure the different review levels according to your business requirements. The configuration is similar to how you would set up an approval group using diverse roles and rules. Once your review workflow has been created, you can now add it to your SOW template. Once the review workflow is in place, upon SOW submission, we can see that it will be sent through the SOW review workflow as opposed to being sent for approvals, if an approval group exists, or to the supplier for review. Once the SOW is created, we can see the new pending SOW review workflow status, and the next step is now Need to Review. A new Assigned To field also appears, with unassigned as the value. If we look at the approvals audit trail, we can see the different levels that have been set up for the SOW review workflow. The reviewers will see the new Assigned To button on the SOW. Upon clicking that button, they will be presented with a list of all the reviewers in the workflow, with their name at the top. They can assign the SOW to another reviewer or to themselves. And now the Assigned To field has been updated to the reviewer's name, and the Edit button appears to allow the reviewer to complete their review. Now let's jump to the last reviewer step in the workflow. They can view the changes that have been made so far via the View Edit History button. Once the final reviewer is happy with the changes, they click Submit, and we can now see that the SOW resumes the typical workflow and is sent for supplier review. 2 new user role permissions have been created to support this feature, the SOW Review Workflow View and Manage Permissions. Statement of Work for Independent Consultants. To use this feature, the Create Statement of Work for Independent Consultant company configuration must be enabled by your company's Configuration Manager users. Then relevant supplier records must be updated to independent consultant records. When creating an SOW, select the new Create SOW Independent Consultant option. In the Source section, search for suppliers who have the Independent Consultant flag set to Yes on their records, or for Master Vendor records. Alternatively, you can also click here to access the full list of available records. Select your template as you normally would, click Continue, and fill out the details of your statement of work as usual, until you are ready to submit it to the independent consultant for review. Looking back at the SOW from the buyer side, we can now see that the supplier's name has been updated along with the supplier code. On the SOW details page, we can see a new field showing that this is an independent consultant SOW. It is now possible to create multiple SOWs from an SOW bid response. To use this new feature, both Use to create SOW bid and the new rule Allow multiple SOWs from SOW bid response must be marked as Yes on both the SOW type and template. Note, the rule will not apply retroactively and will only be enforced going forward for SOWs created from the updated templates. Navigating to the Responses tab of the SOW bid, we can see that multiple SOWs can now be created from the same SOW Bid Response, instead of the old one-to-one relationship. There is also the option to create another SOW from the same SOW Bid Response. From the supplier side, they will see the multiple SOWs created from the same SOW bid on the Related tab. And last but not least, we have resource management for onboarding and time writing across multiple SOWs. SAP Fieldglass is introducing new capabilities in the Services module that use the existing event hierarchy functionality and the new resource and resource timesheets features. The new resource records can be created by the buyer or supplier, either manually or via upload. The new resource timesheet is created from the supplier account, and a new resource timesheets wizard enables the supplier to create time and allocations for one or more resources. Customers who want to implement these new capabilities will need to contact SAP Fieldglass Product Support through SAP For Me or the SAP Fieldglass Help Centre. Want more information? Visit the SAP Help portal, view the Spotlight Features Guide, or speak to your Customer Success Partner or Program Success Manager today. And don't forget to check out the other videos in the Release Highlights series.